My husband pays all the bills. Thank God. So his check literally covers everything. My check is something that we use for investments, we use for savings, and we use to pay off debt. But if for any reason I don't work for the next 20 years, we'll be fine because he makes enough to cover all of our expenses. But I like to still work. I like that I have income. And to be honest, your girl has student loan debts. I've got debt. So I'm glad that my check is able to pay towards both him and I's debt. So anyway, so we went through and we did all of our expenses. We did put down our rents, our car payments, our car insurance, our phone bills, the average cost of groceries, the cost of our Wi-Fi, the cost of electricity, the cost of water. We did an entire spreadsheet of every single.
See, that's awesome. Sorry to stop the video. I'll get back to it, but I had to chime in real quick. That's how you do it, in my opinion. That's how my wife and I do it. I take care of all of the bills in terms of mortgage, in terms of insurance, utility, virtually most of the monthly household bills I pick up. By the way, thank you for your attention. If you like this comment, consider subscribing and drop a comment down below. Let me know what kind of videos y'all want me to react to. But back to this one. They are doing it right, in my opinion. And right now, American culture, as it relates to couples married, hate to bring it down, but the divorce, usually the main reason for couples going through a divorce is because of finances. But so long as y'all have an agreement and y'all have an understanding of your finances early on in the relationship, maybe even before the marriage actually gets to the relationship gets to the marriage point, having that down packed is so crucial and strong. I can speak for myself, been married for more than 12 years, happily married. Most couples don't fight about money. They fight about surprises. All right, sorry about that. Let's jump right back into the video.
Bill that we had. And then we went through and we looked for ways in which we can condense the cost and the expenses of our bills. I'll give you an example. I went through and I saw that, you pay $300 for your car insurance. I pay $300 for my car insurance. I went through Geico and did an estimate of how much it would cost to add Marvin to my car insurance. Guess how much it cost? $275 for him and I both to be under the same car insurance. How much does that save us?
Half.
$325 a month. We went through and did this for every single bill that we had, looking for ways to be able to condense our bills and to get rid of things that we don't need.
That is so important, just to actually look at your reoccurring expenses from month to month. Insurance, I probably do that annually when my renewal comes up, but I cover, we're already joint on it, but other things that your spouse or significant other may have reoccurring, y'all should really take a look at that and see where possible savings are hidden, just like what she uncovered. We're both paying $300 each. What if we just combine? Let me talk to my insurance and see what they can do for us. Boom, saved her saved them $325. Phenomenal.
I also use an app called Rocket Money, and that's where I'm able to go through and look at different subscriptions and see what subscriptions are monthly and do I actually use the app that I'm subscribed to. And what I found is there's a lot of little $9.99s, $4.99s, $2.99s, and Rocket Money is able to catch those repeat payments. And I went through and found that I was paying probably $140 worth of apps that I don't use anymore. That's just kind of sitting on my phone and I forgot to end the subscription.
$140. Now, I'm assuming that's monthly because it's a subscription. Most subscriptions are deducted or paid monthly. Imagine that in a year, Whew, I'm trying to do the math real quick. So times 10, 140 is 1,400, 280. That's close to $1,400 a year that she didn't even know about. And had she not looked into budgeting apps that would point that out for her, that could have been just ongoing out of your pocket. Imagine what you can do, $1,400 extra per year. That could go towards debt, or that could go towards savings, right? But I like how she broke it down with her and her significant other, almost seemingly treating it as, in terms of their finances and relationship, like a small business. Cash flow, she's able to break it down and maximize their profit. All right, let's take a look at the comments on this one. He covers expenses, she covers future well-being. Sounds like a team effort. 100%, I agree with that. Then we split up all our investments and savings down the middle from the creator. Wow, that's awesome. Thank you, that's how it should sound like, even a deal to me. That's how it should sound like, an even deal to me. This is 50-50 to me, 100%, I agree. He is covering her current expenses. She is covering future lifestyle by means of savings, retirement, and everything else. So that's a phenomenal partnership. That's not 50-50, that's house management. There you go. I appreciate it. It's both, or 100-100. Well, that's one, so I know about that fraction right there. I don't understand why this concept is so hard to comprehend. Two become one. This is how it's done. Agree, 100%. The CIA isn't gonna like this. What CIA got to do with this? Oh, facts. Her perspective differs significantly from the feminist ideology. She never claimed independence from her husband. Rather, they rely on one another. All right, I'm good. Let's take a look at the next video.
Every couple should have 4 bank accounts. You have the one bank account where both of you put your check in, and that's your joint account. It pays bills, light, car notes, everything that's a necessity to live. The second account, a savings account, where you both agree to put X amount of dollars of that money in it, and it takes 2 signatures to move it. The third and fourth account, she should have her own bank account, and you should have your own bank account. She can do whatever she want to do. She ain't got to check with you and ask, and you can do whatever you want to do, and you ain't got to check with her and ask. And that way, guess what? The bills are paid, you have a roof over your head and a car to drive. You all are trying to save a little bit of money, and you gotta have your own life.
I like that breakdown of 4 accounts. One, take care of the bills. That's going to be a checking account because, well, you could try it on the savings, but there's a limitation on savings accounts in terms of monthly transactions, just speaking from a banker's perspective. So checking account for all the bills, mortgage, all the reoccurring items, household stuff. So I like that. Number 2, the joint savings account, where he said you need a signature. If it's a joint account, you don't need any signature. One or the other can act independently so long as it's a joint account. You both have equal access to that account. But I like the concept of savings. I treat it mostly like an emergency fund as far as the way of looking at it. And the way he said y'all should have separate accounts for yourself in which you do what you want with your money, I do what I want with my money. I like that as well. I think that independence, even though in a relationship, you going through life as a partnership and as a team and tackling things as they come. But at the same time, you don't want to go over every knick-knack or item small that you want your spouse to sign off on, vice versa, right? He or him. So I like it. But just the technicality from being a banker on the savings side, you don't need a signature. Maybe it's a agreement amongst each other, right? Hey, I'm gonna make this big purchase. I need your signature to sign off on it. Perhaps each other, right? Outside of the bank, but in terms of ownership, at least from my experience being a banker for more than a decade, if it's a joint account, you can act independently and you don't need each other, regardless of the transaction amount. You don't need each other's sign off, so to speak, in order to make that happen. And I would even add to that, go through your statements on a monthly basis and make it a habit. Make it a date night. I think that is so important for relationships in a couple, to have a good stance not just on their individual finances, because it's a partnership. Sometimes one person may overdraft. You just don't know on one of their accounts, right? And it's good to be transparent and open and also hold each other accountable. Hey, not necessarily calling you out, but hey, you could have just asked me and I could have just transferred some money so you didn't have to pay an overdraft. So those type of situations where you're working together instead of working secretly, right? So to avoid that overdraft, perhaps a quick transfer might have done it and saved y'all some fees. All right, with that, let's take a look at the comments. Why would we need 4 empty bank accounts? Oh, that's good. 402 replies. This right here. Who is we? I got it. There's 399 more. The joke flew over your head. Him and his spouse. That was good. Me and you, obviously. Oh, wow. Nice. Bold of him to assume everyone can afford to do that. You know what? I think regardless of your socioeconomic stance in life, what Steve, I believe, in my opinion, is trying to get at is building good habits. Even if you make, I don't know, $400 a week, right? Still, you're going to have, assuming you live in this country, you try to operate as a good citizen and you do the things that normal folk do, which is pay bills. If you have bills, that's going to come out, right? So unless you go over to wherever you owe the bill and physically pay them in cash or write them a check, assuming it's going to come out of the account, right? So I can see a purpose for there. And again, savings, even if it's $5 here a week, $10 there, it's the micro habits. It's making it consistent and making it a micro habit that will propel and fuel y'all's future by means of those incremental habits growing and compounding. So that's what I think in terms of not everybody can do this. Absolutely everybody can do this. I believe so. A bank account doesn't cost anything. Facts. Well, do your due diligence, check out the bank, see what their waiver clause or waiver terms and conditions is. But for the most part, if you have direct deposit going into your bank account, particularly your checking, typically most banks, I can't speak for all, will waive monthly service charge to have that account. This man is so out of touch. That's on being rich. Most of us are working on keeping the first account out of the negative. It's not his fault of how you transact and make purchases. He's just giving you strategies. When I listen to folks like this, there's a reason where they got to their position and being able to give advice the way they do, because 9 times out of 10, right? They've been through it. So they know what they're talking about, in my opinion. If you're not, be glad 65% of this country lives paycheck to paycheck. That doesn't leave room for 4 accounts. Bank accounts are free. As far as you're concerned, 4 accounts have the same impact as 1. If your accounts are at 100% free, change banks now. Facts. There's so many banks in the U.S. You got credit unions, you got your traditional big banks, right? Now you even have fintechs, financial, technological bank. That SoFi, I believe, is one of them, where they don't have a physical brick and mortar location. At least not that I know of. Maybe they do, 1 or 2, but those type of banks, there's a variety to choose from. And even just use Google or use your AI, ChatGPT, Claude, whatever you use, Copilot, and just type in, where can I get a free bank account, right? And in this day and age, there is no excuse because the answers are everywhere. You just got to go and get them. Nobody is saying you have to make 6 figures to do this. If you and your partner make $2,000 each paycheck, that's still enough to do that. Facts. There you go. All right, let's go to the next video.
When people get married, what do they do with their finances? How do they just suddenly combine everything?
Yes.
They do?
Yes.
And split everything right down the middle?
No. You combine everything. There's no middle. The preacher didn't say, and now you're a joint venture. He said, and now you're one.
So what if one person makes more than the other?
You're not a partnership. You're a marriage. There is no... Let me give you an example. My wife has not had an earned income for 30 years. She stayed home with our children. I do not have... We have an income. It's as hers as it is mine. Spiritually, morally, and, by the way, legally. And so it's our income, and she and I sit down. Were she to earn an income, it would be put in a pile with mine, And I don't get more votes if I make more money. We both have a vote. We both are going to sit down together. We love each other. We are going to decide about our, you're hearing my pronouns here, we, our, not yours, mine. It's not your car. Now, we do say that's her car because she drives that car most of the time, but she's more than welcome to drive any car we have. I'm more than welcome to drive any car we have. It's not titled exclusively to her name or to my name. It's ours. We own everything. The only thing that is not ours is if the dog poops on the floor, that's my dog. But other than that, we share it. See, if you change your language like that, what it you to do is it forces you to set goals together instead of having independent goals. Marriages are always growing together or they're growing apart.
I like that. I really do. That's how my wife and I operate our household, and it's mine is hers. It just, she drives her car, or she could drive my truck. I could drive her car reverse. She could drive my truck. So again, that's me. I'm not saying people that don't do that or, oh, shame on you or any. No shade. Do what you got to do that works for you and your spouse and your family. I'm just saying the way Dave broke it down is the way my wife and I have an agreement in terms of our finances and how we break things and not even break, how we tackle anything that comes at us. It's a we thing. I don't know, just based on her questioning and just listening to her, she said, oh, when Dave talked about it, I'm not a psychologist, but it seems like it's obviously not how it's working in her relationship. Perhaps secret accounts are a must, or not a must, but a myth in that relationship. Maybe some hidden debt, unexplained cash withdrawals. I'm just making stuff up, but that's not how we operate. We are very visible and accountable and transparent with each other, especially our finances. And like I said, we've been married now, happily married for more than 12 years, and we're still going strong. All right, y'all. Well, with that, man, this was a good one. I like breaking these down. If y'all like my commentary on these, comment down below. Let me know if I should continue this type of series, finance couple content, and I can, again, give my commentary and insight. But as always, remember, make smart moves, not just loud ones. I'll see you on the next one.